the Stonehenge now beginneth the wreckage. You can give us a call, 404-894-2468. You can make requests also online at www.wrek.org, I hope, anyway. And once again, this is Wreckage, and this is WREK, Atlanta. All right. That was Wintersorg, a band I've never seen and probably never will, but I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll happen. But it was Wintersorg, Astral and Arcane. That is from the album Cosmic Genesis, my personal favorite from them. And we're in the studio right now with the band Axis of Empires. They have an album out now. Should I say album?
Yeah.
I don't know. They so-called albums?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's like, it opens up, right? Therefore, it's an album.
Yeah, there's artwork all over it. It's fantastic.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It looks good, too. The album's called Into the Shadow. And is it self-released or looks like it is, right?
Self-released.
Self-released. Oh, so, hey, listen, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's almost the only way you can do it. Self-released, and then again, the band is called Axis of Empires. And what part of town are you from? You mentioned earlier.
Marietta.
Marietta works.
Marietta.
And so let me go across. On microphone number 1, we have who?
This is James playing keys and guitar on the record.
Awesome.
Jordan Owen, lead guitar.
Okay. And behind the monitor, I can't see you.
I'm Chase Pinnell, and I sing all the lead stuff and play some acoustic.
And
Awesome.
He's the pretty face of the band.
Yep.
That's right. He's the you have to have the pretty face in the front, and you have the guy who looks more like a business guy, and he's the guy who goes and gets the motel room. It's like, he doesn't have long hair. Have him get the motel room when we're on tour. Yeah.
The one you can trust.
We don't sell rooms to people like you. Send Bill in there. He'll do it. Yeah, he can get it for you. That's good. All right. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna play a couple tracks from this, and you have an upcoming show too, right? So what's your
Yes,
show?
indeed. So we are this coming Tuesday, the 18th. We are going to be playing the Masquerade, opening for Spirit Adrift. We're very excited about that. I've been digging their new record, so we are super psyched, and we're very happy to be here.
Is that going to be in Purgatory or Hell?
That will be in Purgatory.
The intimate confines of Purgatory, which frankly aren't quite as intimate as they used to be.
Indeed.
It's
This is my first time at the new Masquerade,
Oh,
period.
really?
Playing
Wow.
or visiting or
I've
anything.
been,
I
and it's
haven't
wonderful.
played there yet either.
Yeah, I have to say that. I mean, I miss the old building terribly. I really do, because it was let's say it was the Masquerade.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
when you think of how much sweat went into that stage, how many bands I've seen there and everything
Oh,
else,
yeah.
and it just a legendary structure and all that. But I have to say that for what they did and what they had to do, because they tried to move different places and they couldn't do it and all this. So when they actually moved to underground, and I should say I got to thank the then mayor of Atlanta and also the I think it was then mayor. I think it's different now, but the mayor and councilman who actually made it possible, because if it hadn't been for them, we don't know what would have happened. But they're able to move to underground and take it over, and you know what? It's like it's actually a pretty cool location. It really is. A little center, little courtyard area, which is kind of cool. It's like if you've been there for Slaughter Q, the whole place gets taken over for Slaughter Q. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll play a track right now from Axis of Empires. The album's called Into the Shadow, and this track it's the first release single.
Yes.
Wow. So when does the album street? That's another little industry term there. When is it street?
Oh, it's been on the street for a while.
Okay.
It's been on the street, giving its number to random strangers.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been a couple months now.
Hey,
yeah.
buddy, you want a CD?
Yeah, it
Get
came
away-
out in
Get away
March.
from you, jewel case.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. All right, cool. So this will be Axis of Empires, and the song is called "The Dagger."
Yes, sir.
And this is Wreckage, and this is WREK, Atlanta.
Calling me the king hereafter. My lady would hear nothing after.
right, that was Axis of Empires right there with a song called The Dagger. And I'm going to play a song right now. We had a request from our good friend with the evil name Hammersack online. He wanted to hear anything by Keep of Callison, so I'll play a song from them. If you want to make requests, you can give us a call. 404-894-2468 is the number. You can also make requests online like he did at www.wrek.org. I'm so glad that's working now. It was over a year or longer before we actually got it working again. But anyway, www.wrek.org. You can also call the studio at 404-894-2468 if you want to speak to Axis of Empires. They'll be in here. We can't put you on the air because we don't know how to do it. And the last time we tried to do it, it was a mess. But anyway. Anyway, the requested band is Keep of Callison. I'll play a song from them right now. This is one of my personal favorites from them, from the album Reptilian. This song is called The Dragon Tower. So, and by the way, Keep of Callison, it is from the books, the Earthsea books by Ursula K. Le Guin. It's a really awesome fantasy series, high fantasy series written way back when. And Callison, as I recall, was the eldest dragon in Earthsea. So this band has kind of like a dragon thing going on. So here's Keep of Callison with The Dragon Tower by request. This is WREKAGE, and this is WREK. Atlanta. All right. Let's see. Let me get this right. Yes, 1 and 3 and 4. There we go. That was Keep of Callison by request for our good friend with this frightening name, Hammersack. And the song is called Dragon Tower. It's from the album Reptilian. And this is Paul. This is WREKAGE. We're in the studio still with Axis of Empires. And we'll play a song from them in just a second. The first one of the album, which is entitled Black Moon. And I think you had a story about this, right?
Oh,
Jordan.
well, Black Moon bears the distinction of being the first song that when I decided that to pursue this project, put it together, I wrote this song, which I had kind of in the memory banks for a little while, and this is the first song I demoed out, the first song we did together as a band, the first one we recorded, and the story behind it is just that it was inspired by this dealer of vintage guitars that I met some years ago, who is far and away one of the sleaziest, creepiest human beings I've ever met.
Yay!
Yeah,
Makes for a great song.
it made for a great song. I'm not going to go into any greater detail about who he was because it would become very obvious very quickly who I'm talking about.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, and it took me it took me probably about 7 or 8 years to get off this guy's radar, so I'm in no hurry to get back on it. But but that's the basis for the song, and there's some cryptic messages in the lyrics, but overall it's just about it's a song about somebody who pursues connections with famous people under the guise of friendship while having unsundry and ulterior motives, so saying exterior motives.
And if I could quickly just say something before we do play it, this song, he had to tell me the story before we got into the song, and this, if you can tell, this is one of the most heavy that I really had to use the heaviest part of my voice in this one. So listen to how intense we had to get into
Big
this
time.
song.
I couldn't believe it was you singing that when you guys first showed me this track. It blew my mind. It was
I couldn't either. When they played it back, I was like, what?
Was that me? Really? Wait, who snuck in? All right, so this is going to be Axis of Empires. Again, from the album Into the Shadow, which just came out recently, in March, I think, right?
In March.
And this song is called Black Moon. And here is Axis of Empires. This is WREKAGE, and this is WREK, Atlanta.
Through morbid leeching, you sell their friendship.
was Axis of Empires right there with the song Black Moon. And I'm going to give away a pair of tickets to see Withered. The entire bill, actually, is Primitive Man, Big Brave, Withered, and Canopy, at least according to the contest book here. And that show is this coming Monday, June 17th at the Earl. So it's probably, I'm going to click on it. I'm sure it's got an age limit. So, yeah, 21 over. So, kids, sorry, you can't call in. But this Primitive Man, Big Brave, Withered, and Canopy at the Earl on Monday. If you want to go to that show, I will take caller number 3 at 404-894-2468. When there's a pair of tickets, that means you plus one. They always call back in and say, was that one or two? No, it's you. 2 tickets. 2. You plus one. A pair of tickets. A pair means 2. Anyway, this is call number 3 at 404-894-2468. You and a friend can go see that show once again at 21 and over. And I'll play a song from Withered right now. This is going to be but the local bands, local boys made good, actually, because they're from here and they got signed, which is awesome. It's going to be Withered, and the song is called Leathery Rind. So here's Withered, and once again, caller 3 at 404-894-2468 is a winner. You can go see that show for free with a buddy at the Earl this coming Monday evening. Here is Withered. This is WREKAGE, and this is WREK, Atlanta. That was Withered right there. That was a very immediate response, by the way, for that. So those tickets are gone. We only have one pair. The Earl usually gives us only one pair of tickets. The Masquerade usually gives us 2, but the Earl only gives us 1. So those are gone. Sorry. So if you want to go to Withered, your chances have now withered away.
Harsh.
Sorry.
So what you did there?
Yeah, harsh. Pun. It was harsh. Anyway, so yeah, or in the words of Carl Spackler from Caddyshack, he's a little harsh. Cinderella story. Anyway,
that's a pretty good one right there.
What's that?
Your impression.
It's Cinderella story.
Your impression has impressed.
Anyway, so we're back still in the studio here with Axis of Empires. Once again, we have a show coming up soon.
Yes,
soon.
Spirit Adrift, Masquerade, June 18th, yeah.
June 18th, which is what, Tuesday?
Yeah,
Tuesday, yes, sir.
I can add up. My God, it is.
Yeah.
I'll look at my watch and the date. And say, wow, amazing. Wow, amazing. Anyway, so we get the Masquerade in the intimate confines of Purgatory. We'll play another track from their album right here. Their release, their CD, their Into the Shadow. And this track is called Free at Last. And there's a story about it.
Well, Free at Last kind of prompts me to tell the story of the band because that was a track that I wrote where I had left a band that I've been working with for a number of years. I won't say the name. I don't do the laundry in public, but we just decided it was best to move on. And so leaving that band, we have somebody joining us. Sorry, leaving that band, I was writing a song about just feeling the weight lifted off my shoulders and everything. And we went into the studio. The idea with this band was Corey Lowry. We the three of us we make up 3/5 of the band, and we are all on the faculty at School of Rock East Cobb in Marietta as music instructors, and so. We know Corey.
That's a good thing. I'm glad you're music instructors. It'd be pretty bad if you're like janitors or something.
Yeah, I know, right? It'd be bad if they needed 3 too.
We had to work away at the ranks.
It's a fairly small campus, but we knew Corey Lowry, the producer, because his daughter's a student there.
Oh, cool!
And so he got to know us. We got to be friends with him. He actually got me doing CrossFit now, which is why there's like a third of me less.
I knew you were going to mention CrossFit at one point.
Some point,
it's my salvation, the light and the way. True God from True God.
Also, the first rule of CrossFit Club is you must always talk.
You must always talk. Yeah. It's like, how do you know your friend's a vegan? He tells you. But anyway, so we got to working with Corey on the album. He was very interested in the album, and awesome. Corey is one of the most fun, enjoyable people to work with you'll ever meet. Yeah. And he said, I don't want you to remember any kind of drama. I want you to remember how fun it was. And he was absolutely right.
That's cool. He nailed it.
Yeah, we had a blast.
And the production sounds great.
Thank you. Yeah, he did a killer job.
Lord knows we've heard some local bands here that you're like, oh man, well, so you're trying to sound like Dark Throne. Oh, you weren't? Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I've done some shoebox recordings back in the day. So, but
using a speaker as a microphone.
Yeah, but this was the original title track for the record. We decided to call it Into the Shadow later. I'll explain why in a bit. But
that's a story in itself.
Oh, that's a story. But this song just a surprising amount of joy that I found myself writing from. It's a very hopeful, very joyful song. And, getting back into my roots of like European power metal, that kind of thing's very Halloween, very Gamma Ray, that sort of thing.
Oh, cool, yeah.
I love Gamma
The
Ray.
good old days.
Mm-hmm.
I saw, I think, Gamma Ray's first ever U.S. show. Is it
Gamma Ray's still
Prog Power
playing now.
3, I think?
They're still together.
Yeah.
They're still doing stuff.
Yeah, along with Blind Guardian and Ed Guy, they were the bands that saved that festival.
Oh, hell
As a matter of fact, this song does remind me. You turned me on to Gamma Ray right around the time we started doing this song in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
You gave me that album, and when I heard that, I kind of came up with this ending of the song. I think you'll hear them at the end of this song.
Yeah, the way it closes out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so this is going to be, once again, this is the song Free at Last, and this is from Axis of Empires. The album's entitled Into the Shadow. So here is Axis of Empire. Here's Axis of Empires. This is WREKAGE. This is WREK, Atlanta. All right, that was Axis of Empires right there. Again, Into the Shadow is the album, and the song you just heard was Free at Last, in case you couldn't tell. Heard it a few times.
Yep.
All right. So let's see. We're going to say something. I forget what the heck it was. By the way, I should mention that Matt, a.k.a. DJ Kraken, is here. So he'll be going on a little bit, which is awesome because it gives me a break.
Yes.
I was thinking, well, if everyone's at Sadistic Ritual and they're all really tired, they won't come to the show. And it means I have to do the whole thing myself, which I've done, not like I've done it before.
Hey, we could just do it for you if you want to take
Yeah,
a
yeah.
break. We'll just talk. Play
Really?
all our music.
Yeah.
And now another hour with call in with your questions and advice.
Yeah.
Or we'll give you advice. All right, but this is so we'll play another track from this, right? And this has got a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the story?
So this is going to be Into the Shadow, and this is the title cut. So this one, as I was, working on, we were writing the songs together, and one ongoing theme for me was kind of personal development, personal growth and realization, and I was going through a lot of that as we wrote the album, and became a big fan of Jordan Peterson, who was, is a very controversial figure, but has a lot of really brilliant insights, I think. And one thing that really stuck with me was one of his lectures talking about Carl Jung and the shadow and the integrated shadow. And that lecture became the basis for the lyrical content of this song. So if you're familiar with Jordan Peterson, if you're familiar with Carl Jung, you'll hear all of the terminology and all of the classic archetypes and tropes coming up in that. So it was a profoundly personal song, but then we got in the studio with it and started co-writing it with the guys that,
Well, we actually had no intention of recording that song, you remember? That was just, it was scrolling through the lyrics on your iPad one day.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, this one's really neat. And I kind of, they all went out to, I think, go get a bite to eat or go to the bathroom or something. And I started playing one of the 3 Days Grace guitars that they had there or something like that. Yeah. And I was just sitting there playing, and I was like, what in the, oh my gosh, this is kind of working. And they came in. I was like, listen to this right now. Listen to this. This is it.
Yeah.
And we started playing that song. It just kind of rolled out after that.
Cool.
Yeah. It came really smooth.
So, and I want to, if I may pat myself on the back for one thing.
Oh boy.
This, not that thing. The other thing. No, but I am really tickled with myself. The guitar solo on this one, I got it. It was improvised. I got it in the first take. The first take.
Good
and
job.
Thank you. Thank you.
My God.
Thank you. Yeah, but I was pleased with that. Normally Corey would
old-fashioned way,
right? Well, normally Corey would have me run phrases, improvise a few times, and then we'd kind of go back and compose a solo from there and play that. But this one just slammed out, nailed it in the first cut, and I was like, "That's it."
That's it. I mean, that was everything on this song. Chase just kind of went and had an acoustic guitar and had those lyrics, and boom! Next thing we knew, the song was started, and then. Hey, throw some keys on there. Okay, cool.
The whole album too, because it kind of proves the whole album is we don't want anybody to get down by metal music. That's not the point. The point is to inspire people to become.
We want them to get down with metal music.
You know what? You're right, and the sickness.
Yeah.
But there's a great line. I'll tell you this. There's a great line I heard that. And as someone who's dealt with depression, I can say it's definitely true. The opposite of depression is not happiness, it's vitality. And that's what I get out of metal music. As dark as it is, it's vital music. It makes you feel alive. And that's what we wanted to capture in this song.
Awesome. Okay. So before it gets too late, because I'm going to play this before the top of the hour, this is going to be Into the Shadow. It's the title track from the album, from Axis of Empires. And once again, this is WREKAGE, and this is WREK, Atlanta.
Sides of God on the cross of Lorraine, duality's truth and the yin and the yang. For so long I've thought that these pathways diverge, they're set on all sides, now watch as they merge. Thy will to power be done, and the moon will merge with the sun. Osiris and Set are conjoined, showing sides of the coin. the shadow I run till I find the balance of powers at play in my mind. And into the shadow in darkness I see the shape of a lightning that I will set free. Into the shadow I run till I find the balance of powers at play in my mind. And into the shadow in darkness I see the shape of a lightning that I will set free. I know in my heart is the power to kill, enslave and plunder and bend to my will. Until accepted, no compassion is real. The strength of a king makes the heart and soul heal. Thy will to power be done, and the moon will merge with the sun. Osiris and Set are conjoined, showing both sides of the coin. Into the shadow I run till I find the balance of powers at play in my mind. And into the shadow in darkness I see the shape of a lightning that I will set free. And into the shadow I run till I find the balance of powers at play in my mind. And into the shadow in darkness I see the shape of a lightning that I will set free.
All right, that was Axis of Empires with the title track to Into the Shadow. And, excuse me, my voice goes out. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. This is WREKAGE, and this is WREK, Atlanta.
You're listening to 91.1 WREK Atlanta. That was Spirits of the Old by Yeti. Yes, and I'm here with Axis of Empires.
Yes, sir.
You're in the studio, and you guys mentioned Gamma Ray right as I arrived in the studio.
Yeah, big influence on us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Huge.
I love Gamma Ray.
Yeah.
Gamma Ray was the band that got me listening to power metal in the first place, and I picked up, it was a compilation album, Blast from the Past, at Borders, actually, back this, I'm showing my age here, but this was back in like 99, 2000.
What is it?
Way back when that was Borders were a thing. And getting a little political there by mistake. No, when Borders Books and Music was a thing. But Gamma Ray was a tremendous influence on me. Kai Hansen, one of the best power metal songwriters, period. So yeah, huge influence.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Gamma Ray is an incredible band, and I'll play them next. But before, I want to mention that, have you ever heard of Hammerfall?
Yes, sir.
That is what got me started on power metal.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was the first power metal CD I purchased. I don't know, way back when, 2011. I was still a kid then, but
You're still a kid, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm still a kid. Okay, we'll say that. But anyways, this is Gamma Ray, and this song is called Rebellion in Dreamland. This is my
one of my favorites.
Yeah.
This is my favorite Gamma Ray song.
Hell yeah.
This is Gamma Ray, and this is Rebellion in Dreamland. here on WREKAGE. If I'm not getting slight technical difficulties, it is being...
Hey, we'll just do it a cappella. Come on, guys. Here we go.
Not responsive. But anyways, here is Gamma Ray with Rebellion in Dreamland. That was Gamma Ray with the song Rebellion in Dreamland. I'm in the studio with Axis of Empires. And...
Yeah, you are.
Yes,
you are.
And coming up next, I'm going to play one more Axis of Empire song. This is Scythe Lucifer.
Yeah.
I hope you guys like it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there is a story behind it. Scythe Lucifer it's actually inspired by a series of novels called the Scythe series by Neil Shusterman, who's one of my favorite science fiction writers, current science fiction writers going right now. And the song came about, the idea in the Scythe series is it's a future world where we are all now immortals. And so to deal with overpopulation and to cull the herd, there is a elite society called the Scythes whose job it is to go around and kill at random. And so this, of course, the books get into the politics of what it is to be a scythe, and the scythes are kind of, selling indulgences, and there's all this corruption going on and everything.
Power.
Yes, and so Scythe Lucifer is kind of trying to correct all of that, and I don't want to give too much away. It's an amazing story. But so we wrote a story about this, and it came about because actually one of my students is a tremendous fan of the series, as was I at the same time when it came out. So I noticed him reading the book one day, and we really got to talking, and he said, you should do a song inspired by the character Scythe Lucifer. And I was like, dude, that is so right. That is so right. And so I went to work on it, and this is unquestionably the heaviest song on the album. This is our painkiller, basically, Judas Priest painkiller.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Amazing. Excellent. And sounds really, really metal.
Yes.
A song.
A smidge.
A song describing a person whose job it is to kill at random.
Yeah.
Because he's getting paid to do it by the government.
Well,
yes.
That
and he's using fire to do it, too.
Yes.
So
100% heavy metal right
Yes.
there.
Yes.
That is the embodiment of metal.
fire is his weapon. Yeah.
Okay, well, this sounds super, super cool.
Thank you.
This sounds like an incredible concept. I cannot wait to listen to this now. This is Axis of Empires with the song Scythe Lucifer.
You have been selected for me.
Vigilante justice, darling, honor to the blade.
what you just heard was you heard Destruction with the song Mad Butcher, a classic Destruction song. The album cover is really good.
Love it.
I got scared.
There we go. Yeah, he will invade your nightmares for weeks.
Uncle Fester on mescaline.
Basically, yeah. It really is. Paul's over here laughing like pretty hard.
It's a great album cover.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Oh, yeah. All right. So do you have any other inspirations that go into your music?
Tons.
One of the things teaching at the school that we teach at School of Rock, we are constantly being educated ourselves because, you don't really, in the position we're in, we don't really have the luxury of saying, oh, I don't play that genre, I'm not into this style. Whatever the kid drops in front of us, whatever their assignment is, we have to then teach it to them.
Yeah.
And not only that, like break it down and say, these are the core elements, this is what makes this a good song. And so doing that and going through that process, that's how everybody needs to be influenced with music, because we can draw inspiration from, at any time, from Stevie Wonder or Bruno Mars, or flip it around to any other style, whether it's Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm coming up with different genres, jazz,
classical music, for instance.
Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica. So all across the board. So it's a great atmosphere to be influenced by just that smorgasbord of styles and sounds. For me, my outside influences outside of metal, I'm a huge jazz head, and my educational background's in jazz. So very much.
Yeah, and you can hear that in the music too. A lot of the complex riffs come from that, and a lot of the solos that you put in there.
Sure,
feels,
thank you.
To me, it feels like jazz. How fast you play, my brain can't process it. But for me, I love 80s rock, Journey and stuff like that, and that's where all those harmonies come in.
Of course.
And the pop stuff that you hear in there, that's where I get all that stuff.
So now, as far as jazz artists go, which ones are your favorite and why?
Okay, favorite and why? Well, the first one that springs to mind is Miles Davis, just for being that.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. That the modal jazz kind of cornerstone with Kind of Blue and everything, that was huge for me, as it was huge for so many people.
And that man just knew how to put together a band, man.
Yeah, big time.
There's no doubt.
He brought a lot of talented people into big time jazz music.
Well, yeah, made names for them. It was that lineup on Kind of Blue. It's like the first season of Saturday Night Live, where every single one of those cast members became huge.
They would have been huge without it too. That's how good they were.
Oh yeah,
they would
incredible.
have been huge without it.
Pat Metheny is a tremendous influence on me. Then John Zorn. I'm a huge John Zorn fan. I respect the hell out of everything he does. He's one of the most creative people I've ever seen. Ornette Coleman, certainly. But definitely Miles, Coltrane, obviously, and then some of the other sax guys, Coleman Hawkins, Sonny Rollins, all those cats for sure.
Yeah, Ornette Coleman and John Zorn, they're highly into freeform jazz.
Yes.
Yeah, we got there's a John Zorn album behind me, and I took a listen to it, and it's just wild, chaotic, and absolutely insane.
There is, if you look for it somewhere in the annals of YouTube, there is, John Zorn had his band called Naked City, and there's a video called Naked City What? And it's one with Mike Patton on vocals, and the video is like 2 seconds long, and it's just the band just makes this big blam noise, and Patton goes, ah! And you hear someone in the crowd go, what?
Let's name that our album.
Yeah, that's fun. Let's name that our album.
Yeah,
and then
wow,
that's pretty cool.
That's not how our album got named at all.
No.
Yeah, there's one band comes to mind, Atheist, highly influenced by jazz, especially later on. Yeah. They're death metal, though.
With that name, of course they are.
Oh, yeah. A name like Atheist.
Well, Psy, one of my all-time favorite bands, period, Psy, the Japanese black metal band. They are? You didn't know that? No! We'll talk about the stats off the... Oh, yes. Yes, we will.
Yeah, so Psy's good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Psy.
Yeah,
Forget what you were
Psy.
saying.
Won't they be here for Mass Destruction Fest? That is correct. Okay, so Psy will be here for Mass Destruction Fest, which will be taking place in early November. It's put together by A. Rippin Production, Amos and Cody. Two cool guys. They put together a lot of shows,
awesome.
a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
But anyways, oh yeah, Psy. It's a interesting influence as well.
Oh yeah.
Definitely an incredible band. Nile will also be playing Mass Destruction Fest.
Yeah, I think they're headlining the first night. I think Psy is the second night.
Do you want a microphone, man? You should hop on a.
Paul is yelling from across the room. Yeah. I think Paul was saying that Nile is the first night and Psy is the second night. Correct? Yes. So they will be coming to Atlanta in early November. Nice. More details will come as the day arrives.
And for all those shows, go to WREKAGE.org.
And for all those shows, you can go to www.WREK.org. And there is a huge repository of shows coming up that have already been announced. Several that I am very excited for. But anyways, enough of that. This is, I'm going to play some more thrash here. This is Havoc with the song Killing Tendencies here on WREKAGE. What you just heard was a song called Cry from the Crypt by Candlemass. And coming up next, I'm going to play one more Axis of Empire song because awesome band in the studio.
Oh my God.
Yes.
We just won't leave. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So the altar also has a story behind the song.
Well, all these do, kind of, you know. I mean, what song doesn't have a story? That's something that I'd like to hear. You know, a song.
Hey Ya by Outkast. That song has no story.
Well, this song, okay, I'll make it short because I'm telling it and Jordan's not. So this song is called The Altar, and this is just a story that I kind of made up. And I wrote this song and then presented it to the band, and Jordan changed some of the lyrics, and we kind of made it into the full-bodied song that it is today, and we added guitars. And funny thing about this one, I think I play acoustic on this one, 12-string acoustic, and I play
It's the
rhythm.
6-string. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's both in there, actually.
Okay.
We use a 6-string and a 12-string in the song because we're ridiculous. But the funny thing about that guitar that we play is that guitar was purchased like 20 years ago, something like that, by one of our friends' moms, and that guitar was purchased out of the hands of Roger Daltrey,
Yeah.
the
Wow.
guitar player for The Who, yeah. It was pretty crazy. So there's already some magic in that guitar chord that we didn't know that.
Yeah.
It just had some kind of magical, mysterious, quality I can't explain,
When we recorded
That was a great joke you all
487,000
missed.
layers of acoustic guitar.
The spirit of the Who has attached itself
Yes.
Yeah.
to the guitar
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
lingers.
It
Yeah,
lingers.
and this song is really just about two kind of star-crossed lovers that never could really work it out, and the song explains it. You'll hear them.
All right.
And you can listen to all our music on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever you listen to music. Go check them out.
Stream.
Do you have stuff on YouTube and a Bandcamp page?
Yeah.
We do have stuff on YouTube, Bandcamp, all that. And the YouTube in particular, our website is about to launch, by the way, axisofempires.com. But
You can go there in the future.
Yeah, in the future you can go there. But now subscribe to our YouTube page, and we're going to have a bunch of content going up, interviews, live footage, different things we put together. We already have, Chase and I recorded a tribute to Grumpy Cat when she passed away.
Excellent.
That is on there. It's to the tune of Candle in the Wind, of course.
Of course it is.
Yep. And so that's on there. You
Seems to
can
me that you lived your life
like a cat on Instagram.
It's beautiful. You guys
Yeah.
should take a listen.
That is awesome.
But on
All
a
right.
serious note,
Now the somber song about unrequited love.
Yes. The somber song, the what is it?
The altar.
Well, this is right before Scythe Lucifer. The
Yes.
calm before the storm.
yeah, the
yes.
There we
gigantic
go.
firestorm.
There we go. So this is Axis of Empires, and this song is called The Altar. And you are listening to 91.1 WREK Atlanta, and this is The WREKAGE.
When I first saw the woman I loved, she was standing at the altar. She was holding hands with another man, but she was staring at her father. There was something there, it was in the air. There was fear and anger too. It was clear to me, why can't the groom see? She didn't want to say I do. I want you. I was a music man, she was born of the grand, and there was one reason I was there, to serenade those who had it made, and the girl who was so fair. She was alone inside, she was trying to hide, and I said, what are you gonna do? Said, you don't want this, who would want this? And she sobbed, who are you? I want you.
Man.
All right. And that was our last song from Axis of Empires.
Man.
An excellent band.
Thank you.
What an adventure we've been on today.
Yes,
yeah, we
indeed.
really appreciate you guys having us. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is great.
You're welcome. It was definitely a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here as always. And you know, I love that this channel and this station is doing this after all these years. It's keeping the flame alive, and it's a pleasure to be a part of it. To everyone that's listening, thank you, and we hope to see you out at Spirit Adrift on June 18th. That's this Tuesday. Big shout out to all of our students that I know are listening. So, yep. And two of the three of us have to teach in about 4 hours. So.
Wow.
That is
We're
impressive.
getting back at it.
That'd be fun.
Hey,
Oh, yes.
That's the life.
I hope you can make it through the class. Just
We'll
fine.
We'll find out tomorrow.
We'll
morning.
see. Yeah.
We'll just put on a video like we'll roll in those old VCRs from elementary school.
Oh, where they
an
roll out
instructional
the
video.
big box TV into the
Put on-
classroom.
We'll just put on some Bill Nye.
There we go. No, Bill Nye was
Bill.
Bill Nye was the crap
Yeah.
back in
was
like
the OG.
my middle school years. That was
great.
that was the
it.
highlight.
Those bow ties.
He made bow ties true. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He
made bow ties.
He made the bow tie official, and Bill
looks
Nye
like
is
Bill
still
Nye song.
Bill Nye's still at it.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
much angrier now.
He is much angrier
Much more
now,
political now.
and he is. It's all 100% justified.
It's always nice to hear your childhood entertainers swear. You know, if I could hear Mr.
Yeah. I
mean,
Rogers,
that's-
Mr.
I mean,
Wizard.
that's pretty metal.
Did you ever see that video of Mr.
Yeah.
Rogers flipping birds on TV? It was great.
Yes,
I hear that
did.
was doctored. I
Great.
hear that was doctored.
And he did it with a smile on his face. It was beautiful.
Like that's like hearing Bob Ross like getting angry at
Get off
somebody.
my lawn, neighbor.
Well, I mean, Bob Ross did serve in the Vietnam War, so
I've heard that.
was-
I've heard that.
He did.
Well, thanks again, guys, for
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry we got off topic, but you guys are awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so much.
that's perfectly fine. Bill Nye is awesome. Love Bill Nye.
All
It's
right.
still my inspiration to this day. All
Thanks
right.
for listening, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming to the studio. I'm going to play one more song before Paul goes back online. This is Skeleton Witch, very good band. By request by the almighty Hammersack.
And thank you.
The
thank
one and only.
And thank you, Hammersack, for your name. That was awesome. May your sacks be hammerful.
May your sacks be hammerful. Well, this is a Hammersack request for Skeleton Witch, and this song is called "This Horrifying Force: The Desire to Kill."